Alright, this is part 4 of my DVD collection. Like I said before, some movies most people probably never heard of that are in my collection. And a lot of movies I have are movies that my sisters and different people in my family gave me because they didn't want them. Most of the ones they gave me I'd never even watched, so I don't know what they're about. Blood Descendants. This is, I think, an independent movie from, Maverick Entertainment Group. They make a lot of straight to DVD movies with actors who are trying to make a name for themselves, stuff like that. And most of their movies, because the actors are just starting out, most of their movies are bad. Really bad. Blood Descendants is basically supposed to be a horror film about a guy who gets killed, and then 100 years later he comes back to kill the descendants of the people who killed him, because he was killed. Basically, the story is he was wrongfully killed, so he comes back to get his revenge on the descendants of his killers, basically. That would actually be a good movie if it had good actors in it. But it's a low budget movie, so it's nothing special. Walk Hard. I don't know. Been too long since I've watched it. I mean, I think it's funny, kinda, but at the same time, it's not as funny as people make it out to be. Semi-pro. Um, hmm. It's another Will Ferrell movie. I've never really thought he was funny at all, so I don't know. Seems like people think he's funny, but I'm not one of those people. Here's one of those movies that my sisters or someone in my family gave me that I never even watched. They get a lot of DVDs from like Walmart where they have the bargain bin movies or whatever for like $5 or less or something. That, and they also buy a lot of movies from different video stores and stuff like that. And half the time I end up with those movies because once they watch them once, they don't want to watch them again. Sunshine. I don't know. It's not really what I was expecting before I saw it, but at the same time, I thought it was a okay movie, I guess. The astronaut farmer. Um, Honestly, I didn't really like this movie. I thought it was boring. The Mechanic, another Jason Statham movie. Honestly, he's kind of like Steven Seagal, where every movie he does, he plays a badass or something like that. So, I don't know. His movies are getting to the point where you can't tell the difference between one and the other. Just because of the fact that he doesn't really do that many movies that aren't really action movies. He's always either beating the crap out of someone or killing somebody. So, I guess that's just what he does. I don't know. Maybe he can't really play a part in a movie that's not really an action movie. I don't know. Because a lot of the so-called action stars, that's how they are. They can't really act. Maybe sooner or later he'll actually do something different and then prove everybody wrong. I don't know. Meet Bill. Honestly, I thought this movie was boring. I don't know if it was supposed to. Let's see. Yeah, it was supposed to be a comedy. But it wasn't funny. At least I didn't think it was. It was one of those movies where they had it in a bargain bin thing for like, I think it was $1 or $2 or something like that, so I bought it. Used from a movie store. And I didn't like it. Another movie that someone in my family gave me, I don't remember if it was one of my sisters or who it was, but for some reason they buy a ton of holiday movies. I don't know what it is about the holidays. They just like to buy movies that are made for the holidays. Here's another one of those holiday movies. I don't really watch holiday movies, so 12 Days of Terror. It says it's based off the true events that inspired Jaws. Basically, it's about 12 days back in the early 1900s. It says the summer of 1916, when basically man-eating sharks were terrorizing a basically man-eating sharks were terrorizing a beachfront tourist town or something like that. I remember right, there were also sharks in the rivers and stuff like that too. I don't remember if it's that movie or another one I have, but one of the movies I have about sharks, they were in the rivers and getting into the lakes and stuff like that too, so it was weird. Shudder. This was supposed to be a horror movie, but I just found it boring as hell for some reason. I actually fell asleep trying to watch this movie. And I don't do that very often. Blackwater. Another one of those inspired by true events type movies. This one is about a group of people who get stranded in a Australian swamp, and basically they are being hunted by a man-eating crocodile. That one was okay, I guess, since it was low budget like that, and I didn't actually recognize any of the actors that were in it. I don't know, maybe it's because they're all Australian actors or whatever. Sherlock Holmes. I didn't really like this movie. I mean, some parts of it were funny, but I couldn't even watch it all the way through to the end because I just got too bored with it. It's a long ass movie. It's 128 minutes. I got about close to halfway through and then I just got bored and stopped watching it. Another one of those movies that someone in my family gave me. Curious George Comes to America. They buy a lot of those types of movies. Man of the Year. Robin Williams movie. He doesn't really do that many movies. Anymore, at least. Some of his movies are funny, and some of the stuff he did in this movie was funny too, but I guess it was a decent movie. It just wasn't really that funny. Meet the Spartans. It's one of those spoofs. I'm not really a fan of spoofs because most of them now are kind of shitty. They're not as funny as they used to be, like with the airplane movies and stuff like that, because I have those DVDs somewhere. The people who do these movies, like, even the original Scary Movie was funnier than this. And that's sad because that movie wasn't even that funny. But this one was. I'm actually kind of glad that they stopped making these spoofs for a while. They have like 5 or 6 of them in production right now, I think. So that's going to kind of suck unless they're actually decent and actually funny, because most of these that have came out lately over the last 3, 4, 5 years have sucked. But But yeah, that was part 4. I still have another huge stack of DVDs sitting beside me to do part 5, so I'm going to start working on that.